Esther.
Hi, Romina.
And hello, fellow overthinkers. This is Still Having Fun podcast, and we're so excited to host you for the next hour to talk about political, social, cultural topics with a dash
Or handful
of pop culture.
So basically everything.
And anything we want to talk about.
Keep in mind that the opinions we share are based on our personal and limited experiences. We will also put a timestamp of the topics we discuss in case a subject is ever triggering.
So thank you so much for being with us, wherever you are in the world. We hope that you enjoyed this episode.
Hi.
Hello and welcome back. Season 2, episode 12 this time.
Yes, we missed last week. We had a little bit of technical difficulties, but we're back and we're so sorry about that.
Yeah, but we still have great content for this week. And let's get it started. This is Side Hustles.
Yes, and just before we get into it, I want to do the land acknowledgement. So we want to acknowledge that we're recording our podcast in Tiohtià:ke, which is colonially known as Montreal, and it's located on the unceded and traditional lands of the Kanien'kehá:ka Nation and Haudenosaunee Confederacy.
And do you want to tell us a little bit how was your week, Esther?
My week was so crazy. It was so busy, but no, it went well. Like I don't think I have anything fun or specific to say about it, but I am really excited to talk about just the topics today. But how was your week? Anything like interesting happened?
Yeah, I would say same thing. I mean, we had some friends over and it was like a slow week. I think we tried to find positivism in, every aspect of our lives since everything that's happening. I think that it's important to check up in our friends, check up in our family, and just make sure that our mental health is someone's taking care of, and some just to disconnect sometimes even it can make us feel good.
No, absolutely. Like I really feel like it's been impossible to just I mean, I'm so happy to hear if you've been able to stay positive with everything going on right now, and we do want to highlight some resources because it's absolutely unacceptable. And we've been learning a lot, as I'm sure you have as well. And some resources that I wanted to share that I'm following, not to say that they're the best, but they're quite informative. So the first one is at so.informed. And the second one is at ukraine.ua. And a lot of these resources I'm finding, I was really looking for ways to help, ways to support, just to feel a little bit less useless. I think that's the worst feeling in this situation. It's above the fact that it's just horrible. It's the fact that you just can't do anything. But 3 things that I found that were coming back a lot. The first one, of course, donating. There's actually a live campaign on the at so.informed Instagram page, which you can go to. And CARE is an international humanitarian organization. It's pretty well known in Canada, as I'm sure it is elsewhere in the world. And I'm sure there are a lot of other organizations and just donation resources that you can access. But 2 other sort of advice, I would say, that I've come across in regards to ways to support is really to not only read and share information, but it's really that importance of doing it with verified information. I think there's a lot of false information that's been going around, more than maybe we've seen before, or maybe just as much, but that importance of whatever you're reading, whatever you're sharing, just to do so consciously, and to take maybe those extra minutes to make sure, do a little Google image search, just to make sure that what you're sharing is accurate. So to check the resource, evidence, and then do your own fact checking. So yeah, and we'll share also, I saw an article, I don't know if it came out today, But I saw that it's been circulating today from the Globe and Mail, and it's ways in which, as Canadians, we can help what's going on. I read a little bit about sort of what they're advising, and I think it's very similar to what we said, but there might be other ways as well. So yeah.
Yeah, it's very important, as you said, to find our place as a valuable asset for, in the society, especially in times like that where everything seems so hopeless. We feel so powerless. We should try to find the power within ourselves, and I think those 3 tips are great to keep in mind. That every small gesture, every small research, and like fact checking, or simply sharing, reading and sharing with our friends can really help everything in different matters and topics. It's the importance to talk about what is usually silenced, and that's why we love to hosting this kind of episodes in our podcast, because still is a safe space, and I like to say it again. I think that that's what we try to do, to feel free to explain how we think, our perceptions. We're very open also to the comments and everything that's going on. So if there's anything that you like to change, or if there's any comment, we'll make sure that we'll integrate it in the next episodes.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for saying that, Romina. And it's so funny that you talk about that, because we met on Friday to record this episode, and with everything happening, like, we just decided to chat for, a couple hours. And I was telling you, this podcast for me is a form of therapy. I think so many times in my life, there were things happening, and for any type of reason, whether that was in a work environment, in a friend environment, in a family environment, I didn't feel as though I could address these issues. And that made me feel extremely isolated and alone. And so I think it's important in these times to, as cheesy as it sounds, to check in with yourself, if I may. And I think that just because we have the privilege to disconnect, and that others don't, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't, in the sense that, and I myself have trouble doing that. I feel as though I'm so privileged as a white woman, and so it's my duty to stay informed, but I am no good if I just do that and it just completely destroys me. And so I think it's important to take a step back. And even when it seems trivial, and I'm not saying it is, but let's just say for me, if I were to go to a protest or a walk in support, it's so not trivial, but I would feel like, okay, is it doing anything? Is it changing anything? And sometimes it's just within yourself, and just realizing that you're not the only one that, is impacted so much in that way, and that you get to be a part of something, that you get to be energized by that, and that you just feel as though, okay, like, we're fighting as a collective. This isn't just me in my apartment reading these things and feeling so bad about it, So definitely there are lots of ways to get involved, to take care of yourself while also taking action. So yeah, that's just a little, I think, bit that we wanted to say about that. And yeah,
definitely.
Do we want to dive into today's topics?
I think it's time. It's a little moment for us to think about what's going on also in the world, in another place of the world, and talk about side hustles. And this time we're taking a different perspective. I think that from the last episode we mentioned a little bit what's like some of the fun ways to make money on the side. And we'll like to share, because there are some of few founds that we find. Yeah, is that, I don't even know if that's how you say it. Few founds that you find.
Yeah, and it's just like, I think it's obviously it goes without saying, but we'll say it anyways. No judgment, just intriguing curiosity. And I think this episode too is really about relief in a way that, and this is just like one of the little contributions that we want to make, is as much as we're all staying informed, as much as we're all involved in different ways, we all need that little time to sort of think about something else, just hear about something else. And so we hope this episode will help you disconnect just for a little bit, so that you can go back and, have a little bit of maybe positivity or just, So, we're talking about side hustles. Really, I guess, intriguing ones, if I may say it that way. Do you want to define for us what hustles means?
Yes, definitely. So I think we all understand what a side means, meaning that's not the main focus. So we imagine that people have already like their main business and whatever, and a hustle. And this time I'm going to quote Urban Dictionary, which is, for those who don't know, it's some of like street expression, or more of like what's going on in the urban, like kind of like language, and how it can take different forms. So the Urban Dictionary defines hustle as a way of life, a hard and well-paying job. The definition of the word hustle is making money through a number of ways. So it's not something very defined. It can be, let's say everything, as long as it's, aside from your main income. So
and it's interesting because, I mean, I've been like recently in my sort of, no, I'm not even going to say Wolf of Wall Street, but in my finance sort of era. And I've been seeing a lot about wealth building. I don't want to sound like a douchebag, but they've been sharing a lot about how to be successful, to be financially independent, it's about having different streams of income. And so I think that the idea of side hustle or hustling has become more and more popular, and more people are seeing different ways that they can make money. I think the internet, as we've talked a lot about accessibility, is a huge player in that. And I think one of our focus today is going to be about fetish side hustles. And I want to define fetish, which in this case will mean a form of sexual desire in which gratification is linked to an abnormal degree to a particular object, item of clothing, part of body, etc.
And we'll show you a few examples about, that form of sexual desire for like one particular thing.
It's fascinating to me, like truly. And I think
it is.
We brought the idea of fetish because honestly, I would have never gone there if you hadn't pointed it out to me and said, because when we sort of teased last episode, we were talking about farts in a jar and how this woman from 90 Day Fiancé started that business. And I was like, I remember I said, because we did record this episode already and I lost it. That was my bad. And so that's why we're recording it again today, because we loved doing it. We loved what we talked about. But I was like trying to wrap my head around it. And I was like, why? And you brought out the idea of like, well, it's a sexual desire thing. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I had never thought of putting it in the same category as typical fetish businesses or services, and it's really fascinating to me. And I want, if you will, for you to share about sort of like a little bit about that business, and even like taking it to like a Web3 level, which I find so cool. So tell us more about this.
It's very interesting. It's actually pretty crazy for me to think like where the idea came from. I guess the demand is there. I mean, there is a reason why this lady from 90 Day Fiancé, her name is Stephanie Matto. She made 200K, over 200K out of this,
Crazy.
farts in a jar. It's crazy when you think about it. But I guess there's a certain percentage that comes with the fact that, she is very well known. And another part of it, I mean, that helps, right? But another part of it is also like people, I don't know if it's out of like pleasure only, or if it's also like to prank friends, or I don't know really what it is. They can be a part of the buyers that buy that out of, because they're fans of this lady. But anyways, she made over 200K from it, simply by buying jars, which is really only the only element to
the only
to
expense
invest.
of her business.
Exactly, the only expense, because the other is, very natural. And
well, in her case, it was sort of triggered, and that's why she ended in the hospital, and we can get into that a little bit later, but
yes,
it wasn't that natural, or anyways to that extent, to make a business out of it.
Right, exactly. And you may wonder, like, okay, but how do you pay? Like, do you buy it on Amazon, or like, where do you pay it? And she had built a website that at this point today, February 28th, is not online anymore. I don't know why. But maybe it was just a temporary thing or not. I'm not sure. And the price is not fixed, because when you buy a fart jar, you get it's an NFT. So you buy it at the price of the market of
Ethereum. Was it Ethereum, or what was
Ethereum? Yeah.
Okay.
It was Ethereum, yeah.
Okay.
So it was a percentage of Ethereum. I can't remember exactly the numbers, but it was a percentage of Ethereum. So when Ethereum was, higher, then the fart jar price was higher, and when the market was lower, well, you understand. And yeah, so she was making this whole business around those fart jars.
Mm-hmm.
And when you pay that item, not only you get, the fart and the jar, but also you get so much more, because it's an NFT. So it comes with
utility.
And exactly, it comes with a network. In her case, I think that's also, it's valuable, because she already has a big network of followers. She was in a TV show. She also, I believe on the website it said that you also have access to like a marketing strategic plan or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know at what extent, but probably she would share like, tips or so on, be part of the, what is this platform of communication? I just forgot.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's like a WhatsApp, but it's not a WhatsApp group. It's anyways, there's another platform similar to WhatsApp, and you have access to that, like network.
Oh,
on a conversation.
Okay. Are you talking about like Discord or?
Discord, exactly.
Yeah, it's
then
huge in NFT like spaces.
Yes. Yeah, I guess because of security, like maybe it's more secure than other platforms. I don't know, but yeah, so that's why it gained in value, in a sense of you don't just
like
buy a fart manager. Exactly,
it's
you
very
also
smart.
have access to knowledge.
Yeah, I wonder who gave her like. I mean, I'm not saying that she couldn't have come up with it, but I think it's super smart. The product I'm not a fan of, but the concept I am. And you know what? You saying that, it's so funny because, okay, when we first recorded this episode, the website was still up, correct?
Yeah.
And so now it's not. And I've read about a trend recently, and I'm saying this like it's like a big conspiracy, but it's not that big a deal, but it really sucks. So I've read about a trend recently in NFTs where, and this is a question we ask ourselves, right? Do you need a following to be successful in these very fetish-based, fan-based products? And so another woman who was known I have no idea for what. She created these sort of NFTs of like, it was like an image of dolls or something. Okay. And they were like dressed differently, okay? And you bought it, and basically you bought into sort of same thing as Stephanie. You buy into this network, this group, this family, this whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. And it came out recently that she, after selling everything, and I think she made like $4 million. And after selling everything, she shut everything down, like the project itself. Right. Claiming that like she was so fed up with the like negative comments and stuff like that. And so, and that could be true, but like if you're already known, and I think that this person had like a fan base or was known on like a social media platform. She was famous too. It's not like it's not like you just got into the internet and this was like your orientation. I mean, you know that there's negative comments, and so I'm not saying it's right, and I'm not saying that like you should have to put up with it, but you have to put up with it. And so and so now it's like it's a scam, and it's scammy. And so I wonder if Stephanie did that because it's a way for people to make the money, and the value is really in that network, right? Like after that, it's really about utility when it comes to NFTs. And so if you don't have that anymore, you're stuck with that, and the value is just going to go down. So I wonder if that's that.
Very true. Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing, right? Especially for Stephanie Matu, but I think, anyways, her name on Instagram is different. I think that her product had like different niche, or let's say different clientele. So some of them may bought it because it's a part of a famous woman. So maybe out of, oh my god, I love this woman, I want to support her, so here it is, my money. So that's okay. That's maybe one part of the clientele. Another one must be because it's a fetish. So and even I remember reading that on her website. She would say, and I quote, "Thank you for the opportunity to purchase this piece of me." Sorry.
Okay, I was like, what? Was that a customer review? Okay, she said that.
Yeah, this piece of Esther. No, I'm kidding. No. This piece of the lady who's selling her farts, right? So there's this, idea of, oh, you're buying a piece of her.
But that's fine. But like, she's selling it in the format of an NFT. And so for whatever reason you buy it, like I buy it because it's my fetish, I'm also buying into this concept. And so NFT, what extent is it okay to take that away, even if one of the needs has been fulfilled, right? That's kind of like my question about it, which I find a bit icky about the whole thing.
Yeah, and I get it. I mean, it can be a fraud in a sense, because you're promising a network. And not only that, but the whole idea of an NFT, like how it works, and even like crypto and so on, is that it's accessible, right? So if tomorrow I want to create an NFT, I can create it, and that's okay.
Absolutely.
But the moment where it starts taking, more value because is an investment, is when my item, my NFT or my crypto, wins in popularity. So the more people buy it, the more it values, right? That's the idea of NFTs. So when you close that market, you kind of close, as you said, this promise. Exactly. And it can be like, I'm wondering, like, I don't know if there are any like jurisdiction, like rules or regulations, because
laws
usually
for that. I don't know, because it's so new, right? But it's like it's so annoying new, because like no one asked for you to make that an NFT, and so you're adding that plus value, and then you're taking it away. Anyways, I find it shady. Yeah. Maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves, and the website is just down for today, right? But for this other woman, it actually happened, and so I'm wondering if it's like the little trend there that people are doing, but.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why you need to like read about, what you're buying if you're thinking in investing in, I don't know, NFTs or crypto. And
but
you never know.
Hard. Like, oh my gosh. I almost want to congratulate the scammers in this world. They are so good. They're so good. They're so good. They deserve to scam. They are really, really good at what they do. God. It's crazy. And the amount of stuff, this isn't just typing in is this company legit? When it comes to verifying literal chains of codes or whatever, I can't do that, and I can't learn how to do that in 2 hours. You know what I mean? So it's so hard to verify. But I wonder if they're gonna I think that there should be a consumer protection thing, right? Of course NFTs are new, but the internet isn't. So I would hope that there's something in place for people like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's an investment, right? So I don't know. It's risky. It comes with a risk. Everyone's aware of that. But at what point? And I don't know. I don't know how much, how many people believe that this is going to, I don't know, be their next million or what. But, I mean, and again, as you said, maybe it was just a bug and we're just, but it is a very interesting question. And now with NFTs getting more popular, more accessible, which I think it's great for artists that were very impacted during COVID and so on. I think that's a great opportunity to learn more about the internet. But unfortunately, it's not given to everyone. And some people, they will just buy because they think it's trending or because they think it has future. But at the end of the day, we must remember that there are other human, they're with their human's capacity. And in her case, her little, natural human capacity to, I guess, make this production of fart jars. So, I mean, maybe they, it's
but
not
wait, say what happened.
With who?
With her. Wait, did we read the headline last episode?
Of course we did.
We read it? How she ended up in the hospital? But we didn't say why, did we?
Oh, yeah, no, we didn't. Do you want to say it?
I can't remember. She was eating too many beans, and then she had a gastric thing. I don't want to laugh. That's crazy. So mean. But it's just it's a crazy situation. But yeah.
It is, yeah. So 90 Day Fiancé star switches to selling fart jars, NFTs after heart attack scare. So it was even more than that. So it turns out she was hospitalized following a health scare. And it was because of...
so wait, it was before? Wasn't she hospitalized after because she was eating something a lot of it to fart?
Yeah, to make her more gassy. Okay, so here it is. She even allowed herself cheat days every week where she would indulge in certain types of food, so they don't say what it is, that she knew would make her more gassy. So that was her business, right? However, she has now revealed that she has decided to stop selling jars after she was hospitalized due to overdoing it. So, yeah, I mean...
That's crazy.
That's it.
And you know what? This woman... Obviously, I love that show. It's so wrong of me, but what can I say? We live in a twisted world. And she was really sick. She had, a lot of health issues. Yeah. Her, she was visiting her girlfriend in Australia. And I think, it was one of the first times that she was traveling because of, travel insurance. And, she had to bring, so much medication. And it was crazy. So, I hope... that she was mindful of that, even if she was making money. And then you kind of wonder, did she make that much if she was hospitalized and it costs $200,000 in the States to stay there? So
oh my God,
maybe she just made enough to pay for her medical bills. But yeah.
You need to contextualize there. Yeah, it's 200K, okay, but your health insurance they may not be covered, so maybe it wasn't that much. But yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. But all these, I feel like I can grasp at worn underwear, like I can grasp at that concept. I think I can grasp at the feet pics, but the two ones for me were really the farts and the bath water, which we didn't talk about in the last episode, but I remember we discussed a little bit. And I think this like form of product business, it was popularized by Belle Delphine, who is a 22-year-old Londoner who is an online adult content creator, gaming streamer, and social media influencer. And according to headlines, made about 14 million Canadian, selling $30 jars of her bath water. That is a crazy amount of money.
Yeah.
And you kind of wonder, like, what comes before? Because she's a online adult content, I was going to say, but, again, like, mad props. But, so you kind of wonder, like, does this happen because of an image? Could this happen without? I mean, not that I know of. I don't think Stephanie, she kind of ran, like, a fetish product, and I don't think that she did, adult content creations.
I think she did. I think she had like an OnlyFans, and even in her like social networks, she would say that she was revealing a little bit more. That. So yeah, I don't know what extent, like if it's really nudity or just teasing. But I think there's like a link between what's literally coming out of her butt, which is a gas, and her showing herself very provocatively. So I believe that this concept of like even the bath water is the mix of being with her like natural oils and her natural like liquids and so on. And that's why, people buy it, because they find that erotic in a way.
And like you said that, and that made more sense to me, right? Because like the water can kind of go anywhere and then blah, blah. Yeah. But my question is, and I'm not saying this to you because it's not as if you're the customer. Maybe you are, but like once you get this jar of bath water or of air, like, what's the next step? Like, do you stare at it? Yeah. Do you like, what I mean? Like, do you set it up on your, your nightstand, and then you like? I'm very curious, because I think that a lot of other things that are like visual, like adult content or like feet pics or whatever, like it's visual. You look at it, something's happening.
It stays there. Yeah. And it's exactly. As you said, it's visual, so you can look it up, you stop looking, and then you get in the mood, you watch it. But when it comes to like bath water, like you cannot touch it, and even like afar.
You can.
Yeah.
Dip your finger in it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Or something else.
No, but but it's not like visual in a way.
Yeah, no,
it's more like a sensory, right?
Yeah. And that's like, bravo to the people whose fetish goes beyond like, like the visual aspect of it. And you really have to like do a whole mise en contexte, like a whole like,
you imagine like whatever. The setup.
Yeah.
So I think, maybe that's the reason why they buy it, because they see what was the setup of the production, like when you buy like Nike shoes, you don't see of the whole background story of those shoes and how they actually became the shoes that you're wearing. But when it comes to this bath water or farts in a jar, I mean, you imagine like, okay, so the lady was there, she was taking her clothes off, blah 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 blah. So I guess that like historic of the product and, you know, its whole journey until you get it, you have it in your hands. I think that's what excites them in a way.
But then my question is like, once you have
what do you do?
Like, do you hold it? Do you put it somewhere? Like, what happens? And so it would be really smart, actually, since these people were adult content creators, to like make a video of them making their product in like a very explicit way. Then probably like, it would be a whole like storytelling. We love that for them. But
that's true.
14 million. Can you imagine? For a product that's $30, that's a lot of bath water. That is a lot of baths. Like,
but imagine how big is the bath. Maybe it was like a pool, and then I don't know. Maybe with that money you can pay someone, you know, like $20 an hour, and they, I don't know, whatever. How many, you know, like you need like people who would sell it. You need people who will do the marketing, who will actually go and collect the water. I don't think this lady Belle Delphine was, you know, collecting and doing the whole process. And that's my next point, you know, like both of them, they were already pretty well known.
Yeah.
They already had like a good following base. So like it, you know, like the question is there, like, did they make it this big? They had this, you know, profit and profitable businesses because of how well known they were at first, or, you know, like, or was it just like a market that was already in place? And
and by the way, Belle Delphine was 19 when she did this. Isn't that crazy?
So
she was so young.
So she was doing that for a long time, like 3 years.
Well, I think that it's odd, but I watched like not a coming of age, but like a sort of YouTube review of her. And she started young to post like suggestive photos. Oh, I sound like such a grandma, but specific types of photos. So like, like as soon as she was of age, I guess like her persona was already a bit defined there. But no, that's a great question. And I feel like, yes, being known helps, but I don't think that notoriety or that fame is that transferable. And for example, there's I'm watching Real Housewives of Miami, and there's a housewife on there. Her name is Larsa. I don't know what her last name is. I had no idea who she was. Apparently, she was like super good friends with Kim Kardashian, had a falling out. No, I guess they're not so close, whatever. And she's on OnlyFans, and it's been a big topic because the Real Housewives, like the title says it, they just sometimes they set women back very far. And I think when it comes to that, being like sort of sex positive and all that, it's so like frowned upon. And anyways, Larsa is on OnlyFans, and she's been trying to take like the taboo down, but also she's talking a lot about it. And like a lot of her arc or her storyline this season, no, not a lot of it, but a good part of it, at least at the beginning of the season, was really to talk about it. And so I feel like the amount that she had to promote it for someone like her who was very known, I'm guessing that it sort of leads me to think that it doesn't mean that you're like Instagram famous, that, you know, I think it helps. And I think like we've seen it with what's her name, Tana Mojo, and the other one that went on OnlyFans and like were super popular on there because they're like, one is an actress and Tana Mojo is a YouTuber. So, but I don't think it's a given. Do you? That you transfer from platforms?
Probably not, but I think that we live in a world where, and I think we discussed about it last episode, we live in a world that change is so constant, it's always there. And if you think because you put I don't know, a video or a picture, and, you know, your business is just going to like have new following and, you know, have a great impact, it won't work, because there's always, you know, the announcement of something new. And if you don't, you know, take the time to promote it, to talk about it, to recreate, like new ideas to sell your product or.
Yeah, I think that in the industry of products, as what we're talking about, what's hard about it is that there's companies that literally exist to like copy exactly what you're doing, and especially when it comes to fetish hustles, there's always gonna be someone who's able to do it better or to do it more. As you said, it's such an upkeep. So
yeah. I still think that it applies to people, but I mean, it is the same idea, right? You need to keep doing, and if you're good at it, like you need to promote your product, and repetition is unfortunately the key to success,
and that's why it works so well with people who are brands themselves, because then whatever they do, it fits into that. Because as we were saying earlier, like this idea of having 6 side hustles, and I know some of them are passive in the sense that like you're making money without knowing like investments, but a lot of them, it's like at the beginning it's very time consuming. I mean, the amount of research that you have to do just to invest, it's huge. And NFTs are a great side hustle, but they're not like what they're portrayed on TikTok. It's not just about minting a $200 NFT and then you're set, like they're a lot more expensive oftentimes, especially for their products or projects that are worth it. But yeah, it's so much time. Like I could barely do it with a full-time job with one side hustle, and I'm supposed to have 6. Like, are you kidding me? But I think maybe once you get into it, then it's a bit easier, I guess.
Yeah, but that's why there are new businesses too that they use the format of a monthly subscriptions, such as like Dogbox. I don't know if you heard about it. But basically, as you guys know now, and I'm not trying to promote him, but I have a dog. And his name is Cusco. And okay, fine, I'll stop now. I was talking about him. So I was looking for, I heard about that dog box. And now more and more businesses are using that, like fidelization kind of marketing, which is loyalty marketing. Sorry. Yeah, fidelization, it's in French. And it comes with a subscription, a monthly subscription. So the concept is simple, is you pay an X amount of money if you want to try it for one time, or you can pay less and have a subscription for X number of months. And if you want to pay even less, you can have it for a year. So that's the concept. And it's great for keeping loyalty. So that way you don't need to do more in a sense of you don't need to convince them more, because you know that they are set for at least 12 products, right? And the dog box there are not that many, but still, I look at all of them, and finally I thought that maybe it wasn't like the best, just because of the number of items. And usually what they do is that the dog box subscription on itself is not very expensive, but it's small. It's very small. It's just enough to like tease you to buy extra things. So that's the whole idea. So the same comes with another subscription I have, and that one is great. And I'm really like go for it, Esther. I don't know if you like tea as much as I do. I didn't even know I like that much tea, but I do. And there's something called Dollar Tea Club here in Canada. And I know there are like different cities over the country where they offer that service. And basically you pay $1 per tea, and it comes, in a small sachet, and you have 3 per month. So it costs you $3, and every month you have like new, different, funny names. You have green tea, black tea, fruity tea, and different, surprises every month in your mail. So for me, it has been great but I know that, you know, this is a kind of business that works, and it's great because you don't need to promote them so much. It's just like, okay, if you want to stop, then you tell us. But until I don't unsubscribe, I am subscribed until forever, you know?
Yeah.
And I love it. And it's great. But again, it's the extra little things that comes here and there. And I receive emails about that. And that's their way to say, hey, we're still here. So there we have new things coming up. And that's another way to, you know, like keep your clients, but also making more profit out of it. Which is not, I'm not saying I'm against it. I think it's great. But it's just another way to imagine things. And it comes with the fact that everything changes so fast that you need to keep up and bring your game up. Yeah.
It's hard, the subscription model. I truly think from experience working with a startup that had that model, that if they don't change their image, it's going to be more and more hated, because I think this has come up a lot with the whole streaming subscriptions since Netflix has come out, and then like we're, you know, our generation does not have cable, so we just are subscribed to like 10 different apps. And I think that it's had a really bad rap. I know, like, just because it sort of has this roping you in, oftentimes too, I will say, not from personal experience, but just from seeing these. And I think that you were telling me that you saw this too with the dog box, where the first one, it's like the best deal of your life, like, you know, and then it's sort of to get you in, so that like when it's renewed next time, it's more expensive. And I've seen a lot of ads for banks that are working or developing services to help with that, and to help you manage and sort of unsubscribe from things. So I just wonder, and I'm happy that you're having a good experience with it, but I'm just wondering like what the longevity is, if it's going to stay the same, you know, because I think it could be great. I think the idea of it is so nice, you know, like you forget about it, but you know that you need it, and so it just shows up. I think with physical stuff, like you're talking about teas and dog boxes, it's a lot easier to manage, whereas like if it's stuff like that's digital, it's so hard to like keep up, you know.
You need to be so creative in that kind of business. And even I know that like a marketing or even the NFTs network, I mean, you need to always bring something for your like public or users, right? So it's definitely a challenge.
Yeah. Well, and the NFTs, like, I think that like people, especially the really well-known projects, I think they've created an expectation for NFT holders where, you know, like we saw it with what is it called? Bored Ape Yacht Club, where it's like if you had one, you had access to like private events and yachts and parties and and so like that type of utility has become, or is becoming, more and more, I think, of something that people expect. And so I think it's going to make it really hard, because people have been able to especially when it came out in the past couple of years, they've been able to make it themselves. As you said, it's quite easy, but I think less and less people are going to buy it if there's no utility, if there's no roadmap, and that takes a full team, and that actually takes connections, and, you know, so so we'll see. Sure. But I think you know, the idea is, because I love hearing about this stuff. I love hearing about side hustles. I think it's so fun to learn about something that could potentially make you money. So there's the fetish route. And I think all the power to you. And then like a couple that we wanted to share, that's actually something I learned through our job, Romina, because someone had told me that I should check it out. And it's called ACX. And it's for voice acting, voice recording. It's for like books.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can get hired to like read for the
Right.
audiobooks, basically create them. So that's a really cool one. And people should check it out because they have so many different accent types that you can audition for. And so that's the thing about these types of things is when I see them after that online, they're so hyped. You know, it's like NFTs.
So
Like, oh, I
easy,
bought
yeah.
one NFT and I was able to retire my parents. Like, it creates really like a false idea of how easy this is going to be. And same for ACX Plus. Like, a lot of people are saying, oh my gosh, I'm making $400 an hour, whatever. But with ACX, like, it's people who find you. And of course, you can audition for things and send it in, but it's not like I go on the website, I create an account, and I start recording and getting paid $400 an hour, right? So yeah, I think people have like false expectations. So I think it's really cool to talk about these opportunities, but also to set some like realistic boundaries and expectations.
Yeah, for sure. As you said, everything seems so easy on TikTok, and it's like I can be a billionaire tomorrow. But when you put that in concrete, then you can face many challenges because not only you're not the only one who saw that video of how to do, but so there's the whole competition aspect, but also, as we said, the constantly like creativity that needs to be challenged, that needs to be improved, that needs to be, just new and innovative. So yeah, definitely is.
Yeah, and you know what I was thinking about? For the the fetish side hustles.
Right.
Because I received a DM, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, from like a sugar daddy.
Oh my God.
Like offering me to be like his sugar baby. And
oh my God.
Like I talked about it with not that I was going to take it, but like I talked about it with my boyfriend and I was like, you know what? I don't understand why there's not more couples that do this, in the sense that, like, okay, let's be clear. Anyone who identifies as a woman in this space obviously has the advantage in the fetish side hustles, right? Fair enough. So I would have technically a lot of the qualifications. And so I've always told Ollie, like, we should take advantage of that. Like, it's such a good idea because, like, imagine, like, this person could pay your rent. And then, like, obviously I'm not saying, like, I'm going to become an adult content creator, but I'm just saying if it's something like I want to chat about my week, like, yeah, call me up. Let's talk, And so I feel like it's, and honestly, like, we've talked about it and I'm like, this makes so much sense to me. Like, couples should do this together. And, like, as long as there is communication and respect, oftentimes it's just about, like, feeling isolated or feeling lonely. And those are things that don't have to be dealt with like any sexual favors, like, per se, Of course, it's a big part of it. I'm not innocent and saying like, oh, he's just gonna want to talk about his childhood or whatever. Like, I know that, but I'm just saying, could be a really cool opportunity. We should try it. Let's try it for our listeners. We'll do it.
Oh my God, we'll have a bunch of messages from sugar daddies.
Yeah, this is
just so you guys.
Your sign. Our DMs are open.
Oh my God.
Pay our rent.
A diabetic looking for a sugar daddy. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I mean, it's expensive. Like, you might as well.
Right?
Yeah.
No, but it makes sense. Diabetic, sugar. Anyways.
Oh, okay.
The wordplay
pick up on your dad joke. Oh my gosh.
It's always present, just so you know. But no, definitely. And I heard some, it's sad sometimes. Like the stories that you can hear from those like sugar daddies. I remember when I was in high school, I had a friend who told me that she would accompany a guy, like she barely knew, to the prom. And I was like, okay, like, why? And apparently it's because this guy, and I mean, he was a kid, right? We were all kind of the same age, and he was extremely isolated. And I think he had like his own like physical insecurities. Thing is, he didn't have much friends, and I don't know if maybe it's also like part of his personality. Again, I don't know the guy, but apparently he was very isolated. But he had a lot of money, and he said, "I'm gonna pay for whoever wants to come with me to prom." And I mean, that's quite legit, and sometimes people would just, it could be a great opportunity to like break the isolation, and at the same time, there's the money aspect, but it's like, it's not really a favor because you're getting money out of it.
No,
so
it's not a favor.
It's not. It's exchange of service, right? So I think like, yeah, that's the only thing that would bother me, in the sense of like, I love talking with people, and if I'm thinking of, okay, wait, I'm not gonna talk to you because you're not paying me back, like, I don't know, I feel like it's not.
You can't.
But
see
I know it goes
way.
beyond that. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I think
for sure.
for this to be successful, like, it has to be clear in regards to expectations on both sides. And remember, we were talking about going out and how sometimes accepting free drinks, and like having your night paid for can be really not icky, but just really
like they're expecting something back, kind of thing.
No, but like, I don't know. It's just, it opens that door for expectations, right?
Yes, exactly.
And so it's never clear, like, do you feel comfortable not talking to them? No. And so in these cases, I feel like it's so important to have expectations straight, because for your friend who is getting paid to go to prom, that needs to be clear that there's no after party and stuff like that, right? So like, I think it can be successful in the ways that, and you know what, like a lot of like sugar babies, and I'm not going to say a lot because I don't know, I haven't like done a study on this, but some stories that I've heard, people were getting like their tuition paid. And so I feel like that on both sides, where the person gets that sort of social interaction and the other goes to school or whatever else they do, like I feel like there's that come on, say, there's that, you feel good on both sides, right? Because it's like, it's just someone has clear, something that you don't, and vice versa, and it's like, it's all good. And if it's clear, I think it's okay.
Yeah, no, for sure. But again, I think it's clarity. It's number one key in that kind of arrangements, for sure. Communication and transparency too, because as you said, you want to be like respectful of your like current couple too.
Oh, so also, of course, if you're doing it when you're in a relationship,
yeah, I know, like there are, and as you said, there are many opportunities as a woman, and that's because we have this whole society that still now 2022 objectify, hypersexualizing, and as you said, with the like bath water, the fart in a jar. I don't know how many people would buy a fart in a jar if it came from a guy. I mean, I don't know the market, but there is this like like not privilege, but advantage as a woman, and it makes us think, well, what can be my side hustle too? And apparently, and I mean, this doesn't have to be any fetish or anything, but remember when we had this discussion at work with other amazing women from amazing organizations all over Canada, and one of them said that the pandemic brought, of course, as we know, the work from home kind of thing, and now more people have more time to do their thing, but also take care of their own ideas and businesses and side hustles. And apparently, there was like a study who asked, I don't know how many women, so this was like a women's study, how they feel about the future, and with their finances.
Business-wise,
and exactly. And 60% of them, they said they feel very like happy about, like they feel very hopeful about what's coming for them, because they have a little bit more time, instead of being in transport and coming back from work.
Exactly.
Going to work,
that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, so it's a great opportunity now to, do our own passion, whatever forms it can take. And also as women, we do have that advantage that is still an advantage. And a lot of, in the past, a lot of like women, they couldn't have ownership in their own body.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like a great time to be creative. As long as there's communication and clarity, I think why not, like go for it.
Yeah.
if you're okay with it. And again, this is very important, consentful in any aspect of any work, of any great idea or whatever is key for anything.
Yeah. And it sort of perpetuates this education of this old idea that people believe that when women sexualize themselves or take ownership of their sexuality, that it's not feminist, right? And so I think that these types of side hustles, of conversations, of ideas that are being explored helps dismantle that false narrative of like you're not a feminist if you're sex positive or whatever, So I love that. I really love that. And I want to say like one, it's not a fetish side hustle, but it's a really cool one. And I've shared this one with my boyfriend a couple times. I've learned this since I've been in the nonprofit world. And I'm sure you've seen this too, but how a lot of organizations are funded obviously is from funding. And funding comes sporadically, right? And so then when they get the funding, you're able to create contracts. And it's very rare, I think, that you have enough funding to actually have people that are like staff, like, that have like an employee salary. Yeah. And so there's a lot of contracts in the nonprofit world, and it's oftentimes like good money, and it's really skills that like a lot of people that I've worked with in the for-profit have, whether that's communications, outreach, videographer, editor, whatever. So it's not like specific skills like, like HR. End poverty, so it's not like, so I just wanted to share that because if you go on charityvillage.com, you can look up a lot of different contracts, and if you're someone who's already working in marketing and in communications, you can find a lot. So check it out.
Really?
Yeah,
that's
so I think that's really cool. And I know that you have a couple that you've gotten out of opportunities of meeting organizations. I know that you have awesome skills in video editing and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been cool to see that and to get contracts like that. I've had a couple too, and like more like boring stuff, but still like well paid. But yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
and I didn't know about this.
That's amazing. It's
go ahead. No, you didn't cut me off.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Am I back?
Oh yeah, I think we're a little bit delayed, but go ahead.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. That's very interesting. And it seems like what is it, like Fiverr kind of thing? Like
Did you say Pfizer?
Is it? No, Fiverr.
Oh, sorry.
Like,
yes.
What is the term when you are
freelancer?
Sorry?
Freelancer?
Self-employed? Yes, freelancer, exactly. So it's something like that, I would say. And even on Fiverr, you can find like different, like side things. I mean, I was, from my part, I was very lucky because remember what I told you? I created a small video for the organization where we work. And I showed it in a conference, in a meeting with other organizations, and one of them, she liked it, and she said, "Hey, you like, what was the company who made your video?" And I was like, "Well, it was me." And she liked it so much that she said, "Please, can we like have a contract with you?" And what I love about that is that it's so respectful of my time, because she knew, and at the time I was, full time, plus, I have other like projects going on at the same time. So for me, I would love to have like more hours during during the day, just have like 36 hours per day or something. But it's so nice to like, you know, look at my schedule and say like, okay, I know I'm busy with work, I'm busy with this project, with that. So considering also the fact that I'm a human being and that, you know, I want to sometimes do nothing and just be on my phone or watch a TV show, I can give you like 5 hours per week. Is that something that works for you? And, you know, like, it was so like
a lot of space
easy
to negotiate. And by the way, I don't believe that you ever chill. Like, I think that's like a lie. That's a complete lie. You're involved in like 5 projects. Like, it's ridiculous. You can't lie to us and tell us that you want to chill. Like, no.
Well, to be fair, I put Grey's Anatomy and work, you know, like in front. So, anyways,
that's the best.
That's chilling for me. But it works. But no, again, I think that's great. To be able to find something that really corresponds with you, but also respects, you know, the fact that you have your own limitations. We're all like human beings, and then we don't have so much time. It's not as in you're looking for a job and you have absolutely to have 25 hours per week. It's something that can be negotiable. And that's why I think that's like the whole theme of today is side hustle, but it comes also with, you know, respect your time, respect your worth. I mean, you don't have to be stuck in one job because that's your only choice. You know, we're in a period of time where internet is so accessible that you can find other opportunities. And they can be in so different, you know, fields, very creative ones, as we said, and some others that are more like, you know, serious, but still is something, you know, it's opportunities that are all over the place.
Yeah, and I think that if I would have known that when I was in the for-profit world, that would have like helped me a lot, because I really was yearning for like that sense of purpose, that sense of like, I want to change the world. And if I would have known that I could take on contracts with organizations, I think that would have helped me a lot. Not be content with what I had, but just not have to sacrifice one or the other, you know?
Yeah, exactly. We often think that money comes with sacrifice, and it's not always the case. Sometimes, and especially at the beginning, as we said, we need to work to put something in place, and then it's only, you know, like le maintenir,
maintain it.
Yeah, maintain it. Thank you. And that's easier to do that, you know, work for someone else and just do that always, and feel this sense of like I have no purpose, but I still need to do that. No, I think and even the pandemic, as bad as it was, as, you know, like it impacted a lot of people in different ways, isolation, mental health. I mean, there are so many things, but the positive aspect is that we now know that we can work from home, still be able to do stuff that, you know, before it would be like unbelievable, and work on ourselves. Like take that time and say, okay, well, what do I want to do? And be very specific with what are your objectives, short term and long term. And I watched recently, and I know I already talked about that before, but I think it's great, especially when you want to start your own business and, you know, do your side hustle or your main business, and you know, you want to sacrifice all, and not sacrifice all, but, you know, leave everything and be like, okay, I can do it. Yeah, so there is a TV show I really enjoyed, and I watched only like season 1. Well, yeah, I guess it goes like by seasons. It's and I think you heard about it too. It's called Undercover Billionaire. And yep.
Wait, so what did you ask me? If I know about it?
Yeah, well, if you heard about it, right?
You
didn't watch it.
No, I never watched it.
Yeah, exactly. So So I guess the seasons are by different billionaires, and the idea is quite simple. Is basically there is a self-made billionaire. The season that I watched was with Glenn Stearns, which is a self-made billionaire. And he is ready to prove his success in the real estate industry. Yeah. And anyways, so he starting from scratch and attempting to go from rags to riches. And I was trying to read, but I think it's better if I explain it. So what happens is, as the title of the TV show says, Undercover Billionaire is a billionaire who says, okay, you know what? With my knowledge, with my ability, to, I guess, communication, or with my creativity, or with my persuasion skills, or with whatever, I'm able to create another business as a challenge that will be worth of $1 million, and I can do it in 3 months. And they're like, okay, so you're sure about that? Yes, I'm sure. Okay. So we're going to put you in some place in America where it's like, like a very small city, like almost a village. I can't remember now exactly what is that city, but it's like very small, very far from, big cities and so on. And they give him only $100 in his pocket, a cell phone with no contacts, because it would be easy, right, to call like your billionaire friend. But it's like, okay, you have no contacts. And they give him also a pickup truck. So it's not like he has nothing. And the pickup truck has like full gas. So that's the 3 only elements he has. And it's kind of like, okay, now you try to find your way to create a business that will be worth $1 million in 3 months. So that's a challenge. And as interesting it is, there are some moments where I was thinking like I'm wondering how realistic this would be.
Yeah, of course.
Because again, Canada and US, even though we're so close by, we're very different. Like in the TV show, there were houses worth, so little compared to here. I think it was like 20K or something, which here it's impossible. You can find nothing at that price. So anyways, and of course the fact that, he's a white male, and even like his appearance is very clean. The cameras are, a high budget. And, even though he says I'm no name, I have like a crew of cameras following me everywhere. But I'm still a no name. I have no budget. I only have $20 in my pocket. There's still this vision of, okay, well, this guy is going somewhere. And clarity and vision is key in this TV show, because he says, even though I have nothing, that like, don't judge me for what I actually have, because I have like $20, but believe in my vision of this project. And that vision is what, made others around him believe in the project too, and go with him and be like, okay, you know what? You'll pay me when you have the money. Like, it's okay. I'll do it, with the promise of I'll be paid back, right? And some of the tips that Glenn Stearns show in the TV show they're very, very useful.
Yeah. I'm going to be like the pessimist, but I don't know. For me, that doesn't speak to me. And I mean, to each their own, right? Like,
yeah,
that's totally fine. I'm sure that there's a lot of good principles in there, but whenever there's something like this, and I'm not saying it's all like hyped up, but I see a lot of these things in like YouTube ads or whatever, where it's like this guy like, is walking in his like garage with all his like Lamborghinis, and he's like, I started and I had $20 and I was eating ramen in college, and like, that's great, and I'm sure that's true. And even in this case, like, but like for me, and it's not even about being sexist, but learning from white men and how they sort of how they navigate this world, it doesn't do anything for me. And that's not because I don't want to hear them. I don't want to take everything away from anyone, but it's not going to be the same for me. So it doesn't really interest me, you know? And like for someone who's, you know, like African American, or for someone, you know, like it's just, it doesn't like transfer. And so to me, that's not very valuable, because it just tells me that, like, of course he has capacities, and I don't doubt that. Like, self-made billionaire is really impressive. It's a big deal. But how much of it is due to like the privilege in society? And so, like, of course, if this was a show where they took people that really were intersectional, and people were going to judge them, you know, because of their appearance, their culture, the way they talk, if they have an accent, whatever, that would be fascinating to me to see them navigate that. But as you said, like, there's cameras around, like, there's all these things. And so, like, I'm not taking everything away. He absolutely must have an incredible business sense. But to me, like, it's not going to transfer into me. And so, like, I don't know. I feel like shows like that, like, I don't know. Yeah. They're kind of like overplayed, overhyped, in my opinion, anyways.
Right. Well, some of the teams are very, very valuable.
Yeah,
and they
for
bring
sure.
great, But as I said before, there are different seasons. I just watched this one. And I know that some other of the seasons have as a main character a woman. So that interests me. No, not even. I think this one, I mean, old in the sense of 2019. So it's like
really
oldish, but it's not. Yeah, it's not that old.
This sounds like. Okay. No, it looks pretty. Yeah. It sounds like old daytime television.
Yeah.
Like Undercover Boss or whatever. Do you have you ever watched that?
Which one?
Undercover Boss?
No.
It's like about the big boss of a company that like goes undercover at his company, basically. To see like anyways, it's like whatever. God. But that's like what it was sounding like. So I was like,
because of the Undercover.
Okay, it's more recent than I thought.
Yeah, no, it's recent. And as I said, there are some women that are the main characters, and I'll be very interested to know how different it will be for her. Because again, we're not putting in doubt her capacities, her skills, her knowledge, but and we know, I mean, this is nothing new. When you try to convince someone and you're a man, you have like more, it's easier to convince someone, as in you say the same thing, but because you're a woman, people will doubt in your capacities more. And only because of that different, gender variation, I'm very curious to see how much it will impact her, whatever.
For sure. And like, if it's a white woman, it doesn't tell us much, but
still,
I'm sure it tells us a bit more anyways. But this is my thing, is that if people like that, and I'm such a pessimist when it comes to that, because I really don't like the culture of, and I know you're a bit more into that than I am, but this whole culture of like life coach, public speaker, inspirational, like, that's not for me. And so like, I'm always skeptical, because a lot of these people have dabbled in MLMs or in other weird online courses, become a millionaire with me in 30 days, whatever. And I'm not saying this guy does that at all. It's just always these like short-term become a millionaire things to me. Like, I don't know. It's just like and I also wonder, like, if it's good advice. No, is it really good advice if it's not transferable depending on what you look like, right? And so like I would be interested to know that, like, that's a good TV show. Like, test those things. Like, have someone, people that are privileged in society that are very successful give advice, and then ask, someone who's Black, someone who's Indigenous, someone who's has a disability, a visible disability, who's in the LGBTQ, you know what I mean? And then test it out and tell me if it's like actually advice or if it's just circumstantial. That I'm curious to know.
Right. Yeah. No, right. Yeah.
So, but Like, tell us if it's that different if you watch the episode with the woman. And I hope that they have more like, if it's 2019, they better have more diversity than that.
Probably. I'll make sure that I watch
now
it.
Now you have to.
Yeah. And I'll share that.
We're waiting for a full report.
Yeah. I will. Yeah, but
amazing.
Yeah, but in all ways, I think the whole idea of this episode is to even inspire you to, believe that your idea is great and go for it. Sometimes it takes some courage, but don't stop promoting, don't stop talking about it. Make your vision more real when you talk about it with your friends and family. Like, do that extra step and believe in yourself. There are many ways to do it, so start with you.
Yeah, we just gave you like a lot, so yeah, amazing. I liked talking about these things. I'm always fascinated about the ways in which people make money. I'm so curious about that stuff. Like, I was talking about that with a friend this week, and I was like, I really can't wait for this Black Mirror thing where above our heads we have like how much money we make, how do we, like, I'm so curious about money, and I think more and more we're starting to talk about it. But I love to know how people make money because I never understand a lot of times how people afford their lives. So I'm always happy to know like what's the extra little things you can do. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. I'm so tired, but I loved doing this. I'm happy that we were able to record it again, and we'll see you soon
for episode 13. And in meanwhile, you can share with us how you make a profitable side hustle without, and it could be fetish or not, and we'll be happy to include it in the next episodes.
Yeah, no gatekeeping. Share the knowledge. Thank you.
Please. We'll appreciate it. See you for episode 13.
Bye.
And that's a wrap. We hope you'll learn something while still having fun.
As always, please don't hesitate to reach out to us at stillhavingfunpodcast@gmail.com. We'd absolutely love to hear how we can continue to host a conversation that is safe, inclusive, and welcoming.
And until our next episode, we invite you to speak up so everyone can still have fun.